Hey guys, and holy frick, I mean, they just keep coming, scandal after scandal. I get it. I'm the new guy. Send the new guy all of these scandals while in the meantime you just go off and report on Warzone and Ninja. Hey, I get it, Jakey Poo, really, I do. You do you. But in all seriousness, guys, what we want to talk about today are some accusations going around from Streamer IceRocker surrounding the brand GamerSupps. Now, if that wasn't enough, we also had some heavy baggage come out by YouTuber Fracno following the CEO of GamerSupps as well. Now, I think that this is going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a minute for me to read through this forum, for this thread on Twitter, all about her experience with GamerSupps, but I do think it's important, guys, so just bear with me. We'll take breaks every once in a while just to catch up on what's really going on, and so let's get into it. Most of you guys know me for this merch line I put out, which I promoted the hell out of and made a pretty damn good name for. In 2019, I did sort of a collab with GamerSupps, who I was partnered with at the time. It was a disaster from the very start. My original contact was easy. They were interested, so I sent them a design and we made a digital mock-up with colors. That person left the company and the project was handed off. They then proceeded to order the shakers without any agreement, contract, payment, anything set up. I was still young in my career and not sure how things were supposed to work with these deals. I liked the look of the shakers, was told I would receive some for promotional photos before launch. None of that happened. I was midstream when I found out that my shakers had gone live for their Black Friday sale. No announcement, no message. I quickly made my own promo photo because it was still my shaker, so I wanted to give it the attention I was promised. I also noticed it didn't even have the right store link to it as we agreed upon. So first off, she had a deal with GamerSupps that they would create a product based off of her design. Then, without warning, they went ahead and made it into a product without any sort of contract or agreement or anything like that, which to me is the big red flag number one. Right off the bat, there should be some sort of contract or agreement before any product is made. And then going forward, they released the product without any warning to her. She didn't get any promo photos like they had talked about, and they just went ahead and released it on Black Friday. That seems all nice and good, but then we follow up a week later and IceRocker says, listen, we have some issues. I think I've been pretty easygoing, but I'm at a breaking point. I've never received a single payment from GamerSupps, commissions, anything. And before you guys posted up my shaker, you never wrote up what my take would be or even how I could get payments in the first place. I decided to do some background work and asked around to every GS partner I knew. Turns out a lot of folks had no way of getting paid. They simply were kept happy with a few samples and occasional tubs. And most of them were also starting to question things. Needless to say, the call went bad. He tried to gaslight me, Google searched my brand in front of me, which was humiliating, and tell me I wouldn't be able to get copyright for my design. She starts to defend her brand and call them out for being sloppy on how their business is being conducted, and that she feels like she needs to be paid for this design that they didn't have any agreement on. Going over to Eric now, the owner, the CEO, he says that he's ready to move on from this and apologizes that it didn't work out for either one of them. Hey, these are all the ways that we can do something about this, saying that he could send him all of the shakers, or they could get them all away in the store, make it a free item with orders over $30. They could give it away at an event or some booth or something like that, and then he apologizes at the end. Now we're almost done with this, guy, so just bear with me, okay? Just bear with me. We're so close to the end of it, all right? I promise. I had enough. I told them to just sell the rest of the shakers and not reorder, as we were done with both the shaker and my partnership. After they had been on the store sold out, I hit Eric back up to be sure they were taken off the store. Eric, the owner, says, yeah, so I haven't yet, but was considering reordering. Would you like to make a formal deal? If not, I'll take them down surely. So, I mean, as you saw, just to recap, basically these DMs are telling her that, hey, you don't have copyright to this design. All we can do is like give your stuff away or send it back to you because this is how much it costs and this, that, and the other. Here are all the stats. What you're saying doesn't really matter that much is essentially what I'm conveying from these messages, right? And then, at the end there saying she went to check, right? She went to check to make sure, hey, you got rid of all of them. We're done. Right? We're done. It's off the store. Then the CEO seems to be saying, I was actually considering doing a reorder because maybe they did pretty decently. They were doing well. And so I wanted to maybe have a formal agreement about this, as if the agreement wasn't formal to begin with, as if they didn't have any sort of deal in the first place. Which again is because of that red flag in the beginning saying that they didn't have any sort of contract or agreement before they even started production of these products. So that is another huge red flag to me. And you would think, you would hope that after she said that she was done with it and she was, nope, I don't want any agreement, let's just wipe our hands and move on. Good blood, no bad blood here, and just keep going, right? But no, the story, it doesn't end there. Fast forward. A shaker image was sent to me. Same words and extremely same font you used in part, all with the lovely tag GS under it. I was livid, not even half a year. I immediately sent Eric a message, not a big deal, pulling from a brand from a former partner. Then, skipping to the other DMs, he says, hey, we made one for a creator that asked for it. I don't want to interrupt your merch sales, and that's not my intention. I'm not sure what the font is. I'm not a designer. It would be easier for me to understand your needs and your disagreement in a voice call. I don't think this shaker is that big of a deal, but I must be off base or misunderstanding. If you are upset, I would like to better understand why. And oh my goodness. I mean, this just gets worse and worse at this point, because what you see here is essentially the CEO, Eric, saying that he doesn't see the resemblance between the two designs. He doesn't understand why she's so upset about this and that there shouldn't be a problem, but he doesn't want her to be negatively affected. So let's hop into a voice call and just smooth things over, which IceRocker is very intelligently against doing that. I think a lot of people try to just smooth things over in voice calls, then take that as official action, and it ends up going better their way instead of having a real resolution to the situation. Now, to take somewhat of a fair stance on this, right? Like we always say, we're gonna try to take a neutral stance on the situation. Maybe it's possible. Yes, the tagline doesn't necessarily belong to her. 1v1 my D is not some kind of like crazy unique saying that only she has, but it is something that one of their former partners used as a slogan, right? Someone that they had worked with and they liked the slogan and mentioned that they liked it and enjoyed working with that part of the product, I guess. And then go on a few months later, you know, not even half a year, she said later, and you have a new product with that same exact slogan on it, just with a different design. That seems just a little bit sus, I would say. Like, you just have to think through the process a little bit. I'm not a businessman, but I would think that you should be aware of these kinds of things, right? Like, I'm no marketer. Maybe I got a marketing degree, but I'm not a marketer. But you should be able to at least realize, like, hey, didn't that streamer we were just working with a few months ago have that same exact tagline, and then things didn't end very well, and like we didn't treat her that great, and she just kind of wanted to be done with us? Didn't she have the same exact saying? And isn't she kind of known for that? Yeah, we probably shouldn't do that. But no, there was no thought process of that. None. Zero. They just made the same exact thing. I mean, look at them side by side. It's the same thing. I mean, even if the font's not the same, I don't think I necessarily agree with her saying the font's the same, but even if it's not the same, it's the same words. And I think it's too strong to be a coincidence, you know? It just seems way too much to be a coincidence. That's all I'm saying, okay? Now, moving on from that part for right now, then it gets way, way worse. You thought it was already bad, but it gets even worse from that point. We're gonna move on to YouTuber Fracno, who dove into the situation. Actually, he was looking at the exact same posts about IceRocker, and looking into it, he ends up finding some pretty heavy baggage on the CEO, Eric, in this situation. And if you want to, he made a video about it as well. Shout out to Fracno on this. The video very well made, and I really appreciate the information and the amount of effort that he put into it. And so we're gonna look into his Twitter thread here on this CEO of GamerSupps. Hey GamerSupps, this your CEO? An individual with the same name from the same state who linked to a now unlisted GamerSupps YouTube video has a long history of homophobic slurs, sexist remarks, and rape jokes. This went from disrespectful to absolutely vile. If we look into some of his posts on there, we can see that he has a lot of thoughts on making a performance boosting supplement for gamers. And then he has a lot of comments on different forums saying just things that are just not appropriate, or jokes that are in very bad taste, using a lot of slurs, things like that. You can see the name on the forums is Eric Freeman, and he has this picture of him flexing in a mirror pic, pretty much. On the GamerSupps Instagram, there's a photo posted of Eric Freeman that strongly resembles the profile photo of the Eric Freeman forum account, the same account that posted all of those terrible things that we looked at a minute ago. What we essentially have here is Eric, the CEO, on this bodybuilding forum, and yes, it was a few years back. It was a little while ago. It was like 4 to 6 years, something like that. I think some of the posts were anywhere from like 2014 to 2016, things like that. But that seemed to be very blatantly connected to the CEO of GamerSupps. We see a lot of posts about, hey, do you think this kind of supplement would work? Cue GamerSupps, the brand, and when it started. And then also all of these posts that are like really bad and really vulgar and not okay things to post by any means. And they have photos that are connected to Eric Freeman. And there's a lot of proof behind it being from him. From that unlisted video that's connected to the GamerSupps account, to image searching, connecting his profile picture to the GamerSupps Instagram or his own Facebook account. So you have a CEO who seems to have that sort of history, now involved with the situation where creators aren't being necessarily treated how they should be. They aren't being respected, and there's a female creator who is saying that you've taken her design, her tagline, but you're denying it. All of it just mashes up to be just a really like rough story. I mean, it just doesn't look very good to have the CEO of your brand, the creator of the brand, flaunting all of these things more or less on the internet back in the day. And I get it. People are going to come out and they're going to say, hey man, that was 2015, that was 2016, that was back in the day. Like, people change all the time. And yes, hey, 100%. People do change. I agree with that on every front. But it does seem kind of tough to ignore those sort of comments when a similar situation is going on today where it doesn't seem like there's any respect being carried over. It seems like back in the day, he didn't respect people and would call them slurs and names and make these jokes about rape and all of these like really distasteful and horrible things to say. And then today, creators from his company aren't being treated correctly. They aren't being respected. It seems like a respect issue on both fronts, either way, right? And I did reach out to GamerSupps for comment on either of these situations, but I was not given a response, and so I'm just taking that as no comment on both stories. But guys, that is such heavy beef overall. And I mean, a lot of people are leaving their partnerships with them with these stories coming out and everything being brought to light. But overall, it's just a terrible situation to me on either direction. I mean, direction one is they have a guy who's kind of terrible as their CEO, who is treating people and creators terribly, and it's just not a good situation. Or the other direction is people have figured out a way to frame him for this stuff and are slandering this company and his name, and it's just, I mean, that's terrible too. Like, either way that this goes, it's just not a very feel-good story, you know? Either direction, I think I feel pretty bad for everyone involved, and I hope things get resolved. And if it is the former story about a terrible CEO who is continuing to treat creators badly, then I hope people can get out. I hope partners realize what kind of brand they're working with and that they should leave it. I think a lot of brands end up taking advantage of content creators, especially smaller to mid-sized creators, for their own benefit. And people get roped into it because they feel excited. You know, they're excited just to have some sort of sponsor or endorsement for their stream, and they feel like they're finally becoming a real streamer because GamerSupps is going to support them, you know, that kind of thing. And so I hate to see brands taking advantage of people like that. What do you guys think? That's really all I've got for you. Do you think it's legit? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of proof here, but sure, there is reason to doubt. Certainly, there's always reason to doubt things on the internet. So let me know what you guys think. What should people do? Should they keep supporting GamerSupps or what? Until next time, be safe, be smart, behave. I'll catch you later.